6 months. That is how long I have been on YouTube at this point. And in that time, I have tested more than 50 makeup products. And that's a lot more than I was testing out before I started creating content for this platform. And so today I wanted to give you my top 10 products from that first 6 months on YouTube. But before we get into that, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you who has watched one of my videos, who has given me a thumbs up, who have commented, who have subscribed, because as I've mentioned in some previous videos, being on YouTube and a part of this beauty community really was a creative outlet and a connective lifeline during what was a very, very difficult point in my life. I had been looking for a job for more than a year. I was, struggling with depression as a result, creating videos and just sharing my love of beauty, makeup, skincare with all of you really was a little piece of salvation for me. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And I hope that you have gotten something out of being here too. Let's get into those makeup products. And the first thing that I want to talk to you about is the first thing in my makeup routine, and that is applying the Clarins lip oil. I selected this as one of my top 10 out of at least 7 other lip oil sort of balm products. And that is because I think it applies absolutely beautifully. It makes my lips very soft. It feels luxurious going on. It leaves a nice stain on my lips that I can then use as a foundation for lipstick later on in my makeup application process. I was really shocked at how much I enjoyed this because I hate lip gloss, and I really did not see how a lip oil could be that different. I figured, this is one of those marketing gimmicks, and I'm here to tell you it's not. This really does feel and perform so much differently than a lip gloss. Next up, let's talk eyeshadow. Guys, if you've been watching my channel that I absolutely love eyeshadow. There is a reason that I have never in my 6 months done an eyeshadow palette ranking video, and it is because I don't know how I would do it. I really don't. I love so much of my eyeshadow. I could probably say, oh, okay, yeah, here's my top 10. And the minute that I opened those palettes and started swatching, I would start second guessing myself because I love them all so much. So for this list today, I am selecting from 12 eyeshadow palettes and 9 singles. I selected the Bloom palette from Natasha Denona. Now, I know that some people felt like this wasn't really for them, that it was a little too warm, a little too peachy. I did select this though, not just because of how much I love it and how special I think it is, but also because it looks beautiful on so many different people. So the fact that I selected a Natasha Denona palette really probably shouldn't be a big surprise. She creates absolutely impeccable mattes. They're blendable, they're buttery, they can be built up. She also has amazing shimmers and wet effect formulas. For this palette, some people said that they felt like some of those shimmers and wet effect shades were not as impactful. I created this look today using Bloom, and I used 2 of the shades that are those wet effect shimmery shades, and they're not as bling, knock your socks off as some of the shades in her previous palettes. But I think she's following the trends here. I do think she's giving people what they're asking for. There's a big difference between the kind of looks that you create with some of her earlier palettes and a palette like Bloom or I Need a Nude. I mean, if you look at My Dream, I'm going to pull it out. I really feel like this is a good representation of where Natasha's palettes were a couple of years ago in terms of depth and intensity. A lot of Natasha's palettes were darker. For someone with my skin tone, it was hard for me to get a very sort of daytime look with a palette like this. I still love it and I use it. I feel like she has really sort of looked at the consumer marketplace and what people are asking for and the kind of looks that people are creating and have been wanting to create, and created overall palettes that can easily build lighter looks. And so I really think that that's what she gave us with Bloom, and I'm really happy about it because it is such an easy palette for me to use, someone with my colorings. For today's look, this came together very easily. I started off by applying Robin through the crease and sort of running that up as my transition shade. And you can see that blended out really well. I then took some Clover and applied that in the outer corner and up into the crease a bit. And then I sort of swept that across the length of my lid, almost all the way to the inner corner, because I wanted to create a base for what I felt like was the high impact showstopper for this look. And that was applying Equinox along my lid, almost all the way to the outer corner and almost all the way to the inner corner, before I then went in with some of Crisp in the very inner corner and sort of working that over about a third of the way across my lid. So I am really happy with the way that this look turned out. You can see that I am wearing my new Dew Skin Winged Forever eye masks to capture any fallout and also to allow me to really work on that outer line that I wanted to create as I was applying Clover in particular. So very happy with the way that that turned out. Next up, I wanted to talk about eyeliner. I, for the most part, stay in a very sort of safe lane in terms of eyeliner. You guys have heard me talk about my holy grail eyeliner, which is Endless Cacao from Makeup Forever, which I almost always apply to the lower lash line. I didn't do that today. I wanted to talk about one of my favorite eyeliner products that I have picked up, and it is this plum shade eyeliner from Beauty Pie. I think the Beauty Pie formula for these eyeliners is absolutely phenomenal. And while I'm sort of talking through that, I am going to apply a little bit of this here on my hand and just kind of hang out. We're just going to hang out and let that do its thing. So, I took this eyeliner today and just used it on about the outer third of my eyelid to create a little bit more depth out there. I also ran it along the bottom lash line on the outer third and used a smudger brush to sort of smudge that out a little bit. And one of the things that I love about these Beauty Pie eyeliners, aside from the great color selection, I think they've got some really amazing colors. What I love is the longevity. So you saw me just a couple minutes ago apply this swatch to my palm, and now you see that? Guys, I'm rubbing really hard. This is actually from earlier, okay? I'm rubbing really hard. This eyeliner can be smudged out. It's not like you have to work in record time in order to still get it to smudge, but what I wanted to show you is that once you put that on, it is not going to budge. I have used some other really high-end eyeliners. I'm not going to name any names, but I have done other videos about this that are very, very, very expensive, and they smudge on me. All over the place. I mean, I've let them dry down for as much as 30 minutes and they still smudge. And Beauty Pie is incredibly affordable. So I think this is an amazing, amazing purchase. Next up, let's talk about mascara. I have to admit, I have only tested 2 mascaras. I really have been enjoying the Prada Scope mascara. You know, it has this really unique wand that just has the bristles on one side. I just feel like I'm able to swipe it on, and especially at the outer corner, to really use it to pull those lashes out to the side, which I like to do as opposed to just pulling for an upward motion. And there's something about only having those bristles on one side that makes it easier for me to do that. I have really been enjoying this mascara, and it is the best new mascara that I have tried in the last 6 months. Moving on to complexion products and looking at foundation and skin tints first, I have tried 5 different products in these categories. And the product that I'm going to talk to you about today is the Givenchy Prism Libre Glow Serum Blurring Foundation. This is a newer foundation in my collection, but so far I have really been loving this. You can see here that it has a thinner consistency. This goes on really beautifully. It does have a little bit of a dewy finish to it. It doesn't emphasize pores and texture. It is buildable, so you can build that up based on your needs. I think it wears really well throughout the day. So I will be continuing to test this out. While this is my favorite from the last 6 months, I do have some other really great foundations that I like to use. So let me know in the comments if you want to see a foundation roundup from me. Moving on to concealer, I tried 2 new concealers during the last 6 months. And the reason that I've only tried 2 is because I already really have so many great concealers in my collection. And I think that's kind of what happened with mascara as well. But I did test a concealer that I absolutely love. Actually, the 2 that I've tried in this 6 months, they're both great. But if I had to pick one, it would be the Tower 28 concealer. This is a serum concealer, so it is extremely hydrating and it's very easy to blend out. I applied a little bit today using my favorite concealer brush from BK Beauty, the Angie Hot and Flashy Kitten Paw. And I really use this to brighten and smooth out around my under eye and even sharpen up the line on my eyeshadow. I did apply this straight to my face today. I've been playing with a lot of other concealers lately, and so I haven't used this one in a bit, and kind of ended up with more concealer than I needed. And actually, that's a good thing about this concealer, is that you really don't need a lot. Ideally, I would have applied this to the back of my hand and picked it up with a brush, given how little is needed, but I was able to blend out what I had applied. So I absolutely love the Tower 28, and it is absolutely a standout, not just in the last 6 months, but even in terms of my entire concealer collection. Now let's move on to contour. I have tested 3 contours since starting my channel, and you might be surprised to hear me say that my favorite from that time frame is the Victoria Beckham Contour Stylus. And yes, this is a very expensive product, but I find it so easy to work with as someone who is a little nervous about overdoing it. It doesn't come off too bronzy, too orange. I don't feel like it looks muddy or dirty on my face. It's easy to just apply a little bit. So I think for this, it's really 2 things that make this stand out. One, it's so tiny that I don't have to worry as much about overdoing it. And second of all, I feel like the color works really well for someone who is as fair-skinned as I am. There are some other contour products that I have tried that are truly marketed as cool-toned contour products that I still feel look kind of bronzy on me. All right, now we're moving into another area that is really difficult for me from a choice perspective. You had eyeshadow, and now you've got, I wonder if you can guess it, blush. It's been like a blush bonanza for me these last 6 months. I have absolutely fallen in love with quite a few blush products, and so this was a really tough choice for me. I did try 8 different blushes during this time frame, and the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Matte Bouncy Blush in Hope came out on top. I absolutely love this blush. It is, again, you probably hear me talking about this with a lot of these products. I am looking for ease of use. I am looking for idiot proof, okay? And I feel like this blush is really kind of idiot proof because of the way that it blends out, because of the fact that it is starting out as a cream and then working out to more of a powder that really has sort of this blurred cloud-like effect. I absolutely love this blush, but I ain't gonna lie, this was tough. I almost picked 2 blushes and was just like, get over it, 2 blushes, so what? So what? Okay, powder. I have only tried 1 pressed powder during this time, and that is the Givenchy Prism Libre Blurring and Color Correcting Matte Pressed Powder. It absolutely fits the bill in terms of providing a luxurious experience, which you absolutely should be getting at this price point. And of course, I am comparing this from a performance standpoint to the original loose setting powder, not the new glowy version, but the more matte version that you can't get your hands on anymore. So that is my ride or die. And so this had a lot to live up to. What I do most of the time actually is I use the loose here at home when I'm getting dressed in the morning. And then I put this in my bag and can do touch-ups. And I think this is a great little brush for that because you can see based on the shape, you can just sort of touch up. I'm glad that they included this. I've heard some other people complain about the brush, but I'm a fan. We are going to wrap it up with one more lip product. We are bookending here with another lip oil, but one that works a little differently than the Clarins lip oil. And this is the Pulfy Lassie Lips Staining Long-Lasting Moisturizing Lip Oil. And the color that I am wearing today is called First Sorry. And I think it is absolutely gorgeous. When I'm applying this, start off applying towards more of the center of my lip as opposed to the lip line, because I don't want to end up with it wearing away more so in the middle than the lip line and just ending up with a weird lip line. This deeper shade is absolutely phenomenal if you want something that's going to leave a natural looking stain on your lips for the rest of the day. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. I want to thank you for watching today. And again, I want to thank you if you have been here with me for the first 6 months of my YouTube journey. I hope you got something out of today's video, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.